It is our pleasure to welcome our next guest aboard, NBC Universal. Reading some of his articles right now. His name is Alex Sherman, and Alex joins us this morning on Business for Breakfast. You can follow him, I believe this is Twitter, at Sherman4949. Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Good morning.
Appreciate the time. Where are you based out of?
Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I got my whole family's back east right now. They're in Wildwood.
Yeah, not too far.
Okay, they're enjoying it. I keep seeing the bills. There's a lot of cotton candy being eaten. That's all I'm going to say. Let's talk about what a couple of your articles that caught my attention. One of them is Netflix. This is obviously a company that is grown to very high standards. We all have Netflix. Everyone loves the shows and the original content, plus some of the other stuff they put on there. But recently, Netflix dipped their toe in the video game market, and everyone's kind of trying to figure out why or what's this all about? What do you think?
Yeah, so all of this stuff is brand new, and really for the first time, Netflix executives explained what they're thinking about doing when Netflix announced their second quarter earnings earlier this week. And so the lesson, sort of that I think investors and the interested public learned from listening to Netflix talk about this for about 20 minutes is that Netflix is going to try a bunch of different things. They will dabble in sort of the mobile gaming market. It will be part of your Netflix subscription, so you won't have to pay anything more for it. And Netflix will look at how users are interacting with these games, a lot of which will be based off Netflix's own intellectual property. In other words, if there's a Netflix original show out there you like Stranger Things or Kissing Booth, or Netflix will develop a game off of that, and then it will watch how users interact with the game. And reading between the lines a little bit, it sounds like what Netflix wants to do is kind of recreate something along the lines of what Disney does with its intellectual property, where it wants to see which characters users like the best. How do they spend time with these characters? And maybe one day they're able to take that information and make plot choices or series choices based on, which users like which characters, or maybe a spin-off can develop because of a certain game. So they're looking for what, in business lingo, they call this the flywheel effect, where they have a show and then the game can recreate its own new series or character development, and one thing plays off the other, right. and overall users spend more time engaging with Netflix content, and there's more reason to spend the $15 or so you're paying per month for Netflix.
Right, which will then soon be $18. But anyway, I know where you're going. I can't wait to launder money in the Ozarks. I mean, that's going to be fun on a video game, right?
Exactly. I can't either. Totally.
Oh, man, that's funny stuff. All right, so I got to ask this, and maybe you don't know or maybe you do. Look, I get Netflix. I turn it on. I watch. Now, if there's a video game, how do you play it? Like, if my kid's like, I want to play Stranger Things or whatever it is,
yeah.
Do you have to have wireless remotes? How is this going to go? Is it?
Yeah. So
okay.
I think all of this is a work in progress. Right now, there has been no announcement of some sort of Netflix controller, but that's not to say that one day one couldn't come. It sounds like the initial focus will simply be playing a mobile game from your phone, like you'd play any other game from your iPhone or whatever smartphone you have.
Gotcha.
In addition to that, Netflix has already dabbled with interactive programming, which I think you could probably throw in this new gaming programming. I'm talking stuff they've done this with Minecraft. They've done it with Boss Baby. They had this show called Bandersnatch that came out that allowed you to choose your own adventure. So that really is more gaming than video. It's kind of but it's giving users sort of the ability go, and that can just be done with a remote control, any remote control, and you dabble between the various different choices that they're offering you. So I would expect more of that as well.
That's very interesting stuff. I'm very interested to see how this plays out and then what it maybe possibly leads to. If you're just tuning in, Alex Sherman from NBC Universal is joining us here on Business for Breakfast. We appreciate his time. A couple articles that caught our attention. By the way, for those that didn't pay attention, how was Netflix earnings? The report came out, 2 days ago?
Yeah, so it was good and bad. I would say probably more tilting toward the negative than the positive. Netflix announced that they had added 1.5 million new subscribers in the quarter. That was a little above, which was just 1 million new subscribers. That is a lot lower than last year, where they added 10 million new subscribers in the second quarter. But of course, you have to realize last year's second quarter was in the heart of the pandemic quarantine. So everybody was at home. So they had this surge of new subscribers that the company wasn't expecting. So some of that the lower number has to do with the pandemic concerns winning, and also so many people signed up last year that fewer people are this year. The real number, I think, that caused the stock to go down yesterday was their forecast for next quarter, which was 3.5 million new subscribers globally. Analysts were expecting something closer to 5 or 5.5 million. So there is a little bit of concern here that the overall growth narrative for Netflix, which has been so strong for so many years, may be slowing down, particularly in the United States and Canada, where Netflix actually lost subscribers. They lost 430,000 subscribers. That's an indication that the business is maturing somewhat, and is one of the reasons why Netflix is starting to explore this video game option, because if the streaming business is maturing, it's going to need new ways to engage people and new revenue growth.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Alex Sherman, give me this. We got about 3 minutes left. Actually, a little less than that, 2.5. I'm confused by this whole Dish Network and now AT&T. I thought AT&T and DirecTV, and now you're saying this could be a precursor to a DirecTV Dish Network merge. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, sure. So Dish has been trying to change itself into a wireless company for more than a decade now. And it finally made a big leap in doing that earlier this year when Sprint and T-Mobile agreed to merge. As a clause of that merger, the government said, okay, we'll put the number 3 and the number 4 wireless provider together, but we don't want just 3 wireless providers in this country. We want a 4th, want more competition. So as a clause of that deal, it said to Dish and T-Mobile and Sprint, Dish, you can use T-Mobile's network as you build out your own over time to offer people a 4th option. There has been a lot of disagreement, though, between T-Mobile and Dish since that announcement about sort of the technical parts of the network. T-Mobile wanted to shut down something in their network that was going to host a lot of these Dish customers. So Dish basically said, we're going to have this new agreement with AT&T, and they're going to become our primary hosting provider as we build out our own 5G network. So Dish is now kind of cozying up to AT&T, saying, T-Mobile, we'll still use you guys, but the main network we're now going to use is AT&T, and we're going to pay AT&T $5 billion over the next 10 years to allow them to use our network. But the big deal that everyone has been waiting for is this Dish-DirecTV merger. AT&T owns 70%, or they currently own 100% of DirecTV. Soon will own 70% of AT&T. They're selling a minority stake to a private equity firm. And if you're able to put DirecTV and Dish together, you can really take out a lot of the costs in both of those satellite TV businesses. So people have been waiting for this honestly for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Regulators previously wouldn't have allowed it, but now because the world has changed so much and most people get their TV internet delivered, or at least cable delivered, satellite TV isn't as much of a threat, and it's possible that regulators will allow it. They don't see it as much as an antitrust issue anymore.
All right. That's good stuff, man. I'm going to keep my eye on that as well. Alex, I love your stories. I appreciate it. I'd love to have you back on from time to time. We'll be in touch. Alex Sherman, at Sherman4949 on Twitter, or, of course, you can follow him online as well. Alex, thanks for the time. Have a great day, all right?
Absolutely. You too.
Thank you. Alex Sherman, NBC Universal. Good stuff right there, James. Chalk him up for another visit. How about that? Dish TV or DirecTV and Dish Network finally together at last.